Do you know any, like, ancient curses?
Not off the top of my head, but I feel like one was just unleashed upon us.
I need something really bad for Paul W.S. Anderson, and I need something less bad but still bad for Chris.
Our friend Chris, who actually tolerates this guy as a director.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That might be the most unforgivable thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
For the record, we, for the first time ever, are just like laying down recording this.
I don't think, if we tried to have any kind of like posture during this recording, I think we would just probably like have to give up. We've just been through the closest thing to hell on earth, I think.
Yeah, we did a double feature of, what's this fucking called? In the Lost Lands?
The Sands of Time?
Yeah, and Monster Hunter.
Yes. Monster Hunters?
Singular.
Monster Hunter.
Based on the game series, and very loosely, if I might add. I played a game long ago, and this kind of doesn't even feel anything like it. I
didn't know about the source material of either of these movies. I didn't know either of these movies existed. Our friend Chris is a fan of this man who you do not know, named Paul W.S. Anderson. You didn't hear us wrong. Paul W.S., not Paul T.
Not Wes Anderson.
Not Wes, neither of the good Andersons. This is a man whose credits include the first 6 Resident Evil movies.
He did, I think, at least 4 of them. Some of them he's just producer on, because I guess he had other commitments.
He had better things to do, like Pompeii.
His most famous movie and most acclaimed is probably Event Horizon.
Yeah.
And the movie is pretty good. It kind of got ruined in the edit and it wasn't his fault, really. I think the studio butchered it. It's a very famous case of like lost media, missing footage, where people who saw it do agree that the cut that he had earlier was just way better. And what we got was a very neutered version, albeit still fine.
I barely remember it. I saw that movie when I was like too young. And I remember that it was extremely disturbing. And Paul directed my dad showed me that, and then he directed a different movie called Soldier that my dad's a fan of. And these are probably his best. These are early movies of his and his best. He then started making Resident Evil movies. He got Resident Evil Brain. The Resident Evil movies, which we have both seen independently with Chris.
Yes.
Is a series that he likes. And these 2 movies we just watched are the most recent 2 films that he has made that are uniquely terrible. I was not prepared. You never can be for this guy. I do feel like we've discovered 2 of the worst movies ever made.
Oh, yeah, like you said, for insane different reasons. So we watched In the Lost Lands first and then Monster Hunter. We actually had our friend Nick come over for Lost Lands. And then he's just like, I might stay for the second one, and just didn't. And he's the wisest man ever for that. Because Lost Lands was bad. It's just, the story makes no sense, literally. We don't know what the ending is. And we saw it.
Yeah, I feel like we're like the boys who cried wolf, where we've talked about so many things where like, it makes no sense. But like, really, it's like, it just doesn't make the right sense. Between the 4 of us, we had 4 brains trying to process what was going on in this thing, and it was extremely hard to understand what was happening, who was doing what to whom, and why. It's an adaptation of a George R.R. Martin short story. Time skip. Danny started puking on the floor.
Right under my computer desk.
Poor baby. Anyway, yeah, with the 4 of us watching The Sands of Time, The Lost Jewel, The Lost Land of the Lost.
Yes, I think that's it. Yeah.
What's it actually? I'm not even kidding. It's
In the Lost Lands.
In the Lost Land. I don't know why that's so hard.
It's a very nothing title.
It is. Between the 4 of us, we were struggling. Chris did have the best time understanding it. There were a few times where we're like, wait, why is she doing that? And Chris is like, it's to serve that. He's like, pause it. It's like, he kind of like weirdly, these movies make sense to him. And if you've never seen a Paul W.S. Anderson movie, it's almost indescribable how wrong they are. There are movies that look worse. There are movies that sound worse. There are movies with worse acting. Paul W.S. Anderson films have an extremely specific, like stale, like it's just prime example disease movie. You're just watching it. It's like, you know, it feels like all of the actors are in different scenes with each other or like we're filmed on different days. And like every camera angle is just like, it's just like the wrong shot.
Yeah, I guess a way to put it is that everything by itself is like a C-, but it all comes together to be like an F somehow. Yeah. And it doesn't really make sense. Why? Because there are certain moments of the Resident Evil movies where the lighting looks good. Honestly, you know, the shot composition isn't bad. It does look scary, or there's some like well shot slow motion scenes where they shoot at a high frame rate and there's action on screen. I'm like, okay, this looks good. I expect this from a good action movie. So he has at least the competence to have set this shot up correctly that a lot of other directors don't have or just overlook. Mm-hmm. And they're like, whatever, we'll just, you know, slow it down in post and then it looks terrible. It really takes a special kind of person to just not stick the landing on anything.
Yeah.
It's like you mess up every single part of like your handspring and then you land on your neck and die.
You know, that actually is a pretty good description. I don't think I could have done it better myself. Yeah, watching a Paul W.S. Anderson joint is kind of like doing like peer review essays in high school, but if your friend like wrote the way that girl in the Playboy Cardi video was talking, it's just like a jibba jabba a wooga baga, and you're like, oh, hang on.
Yes, everybody watch the video where Playboy Cardi gets pulled over by some cop, and there's some like mongoloid in the backseat who's speaking like some Flintstones language to the cop, and he's like, ignore that shit.
There's a sameness to the blandness and the wrongness of everything that kind of develops like this Chinese water torture kind of effect.
Yeah.
Where like when you start either of these movies, like, or the Resident Evil movies from my memory, all of them, when they start, you're like, oh, this is like you said, like a C-. You're like, I'm just watching like kind of junk.
Yeah.
But then as time goes on, you're like, you start like, for me, I can't sit still. Like I had to stand up, walk around, like stretch, like look at my phone. Like it's just insanely hard to not do something else. Mm-hmm. It is like the quintessential thing of like, if I'm paying full attention to this, I'm going to give myself like an injury. Like I'm not going to be able to think as well anymore. You know, like we both felt very mentally unwell.
There was a certain part in Monster Hunter where I think we're like 40 minutes in and you're just like, hold on, pause it. They're just walking around in the fucking desert. And seriously, for the first like hour of this movie, they're fighting the same enemy like over and over in the same, just like, I think it's South Africa. I looked up, they filmed this in just some like sand dunes, and it's so boring and it looks bad. And you said, all right, skip forward a little bit on the timeline so I can see when the next like actual different scene is. And it was 20 minutes later. And you said, Chris, go ahead and press play. I'm going to be on my phone for the next 20 minutes.
I had to take a sabbatical from the movie.
And as you did this is one of the few movies where I was paying attention and I actually just fell asleep.
Yeah.
I think the last movie that happened to me chronologically, because this came out in 2020, was Rogue One, that Star Wars movie. Mm. I worked at the theater and I saw that and I like fucking fell asleep halfway through and I was like, oh my God.
That movie's extremely, you know, I didn't fall asleep, but I watched that in college on my laptop where I started it. Mm-hmm. And I got to that point where like you do that like slow blink thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I need to take a nap.
Yes. And these are both action movies. I should not, it makes sense to like fall asleep during like some period drama or like a dumb woman movie that like your girlfriend's making you watch. But during these two, that's especially bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monster Hunter, I think I don't want to say one is the better movie because that implies that something did something well. But I guess Monster Hunter is a better made movie.
Yeah.
The action looks better. It's actually filmed in locations, quote unquote. I just forgot the fucking name of the other one. In the Lost Valley? In the Lost Lands.
In the Valley of the Dolls?
Yes.
Beyond the Valley of the Lost Time?
In the Land Before Time, they have not even sets. It's just like all green screen or blue screen.
Yeah.
It's just like it wasn't filmed. It really is just like they turn the camera on, put some CG behind them in post, and they're just like, just fucking do whatever.
Picking which movie you prefer is kind of like, okay, do you want something that if you watched it on mute, you'd think is probably a better thing? Like, do you want a thing that looks competent, but just is like like brain against a cheese grater dull? Or do you want to watch something that's like so fucking like you can't look away, but it's also like it looks like, you know, hot diarrhea?
It's like you have to choose your favorite of your two kids, but your kids are the Menendez brothers. Well, like which one is the least terrible?
It's choosing your favorite kid. One is a Menendez and one is Julian Donkey Boy, and you're like, well, they both have qualities and drawbacks.
That's so stupid.
The night started well. We watched the second movie first, the most recent one first, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which is, I guess you could say it's an action fantasy. It kind of reminded me of those Snow White and the Huntsman movies, where it's like we're doing fantasy, but it's like trying to be like the modern kind of like, not Marvel, but like kind of the modern sensibility action movie where it's going to have CGI monsters and it's going to be all out, and, you know, we're putting everything in it. It also reminded me of Zack Snyder's new Netflix movies. I know one of them is called Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
It looked exactly like the marketing for that, where it's like, it's the past and the future, and it's steampunk and it's fantasy.
It's so bizarre. The world they live in, we were talking about this, it doesn't have any lore.
No.
Because they're in like a post-apocalyptic world. You can tell that they're in what was once America, but they live in a future where it's basically like, you know, post-apocalyptic Fallout type.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody lives in one giant city, which looks like the one in Mad Max.
Yeah.
And it's like, it tries to be every movie. And there are, first you think, okay, is this just the future? But no, Mila Jovovich is a witch. There's this weird kind of Christian cult. They don't specifically talk about Jesus, but like there's the crucifix iconography, and they always talk about like, you know, God, and it's like these people, I guess, just rule the world or something.
It's insanely hard to.
Yeah.
The movie, there's no like moment of having any kind of like getting your footing. There's no audience insert character. And the movie moves at such a breakneck pace that you're just trying your hardest to understand from context clues, but there are no context clues. It's like I forget at what point this became evident, but every scene of this movie is like wide establishing shot of some part of the fucked up earth with like Mad Max imagery, and yeah, like giant crosses everywhere, and the sun is always shining in the camera, and it's like extremely hard to look at. Cut to closer shot of whatever the scene is, of like green screens with actors just delivering terrible dialogue that's all just like plot. It's just explaining what the person wants or whatever, and a terrible action scene, and it's just that rinse and repeat. So you don't really understand the world. You don't know who, like they say the queen at one point, they're like the queen, but it's like, are you the queen of the earth? Are you the queen of a country? Are you the queen of the city? Like what?
Yeah, the only kind of lore they give you is in the opening, where they're talking about everybody lives in a city now. The world used to be okay until death came from the sky. Now, that you could interpret that a couple of ways. It's like, was there some type of like, you know, God destroying Sodom and Gomorrah type religious thing? Is that why the Christian, not Christians are there? Is this like a thing that nuclear war happened, death ran from the sky? Or is it a thing of just like monsters exist and killed everybody? Because this movie has just like, they go to a nuclear power plant and they're attacked by like zombie cyborgs. And it's like, who are these people?
That look like Groot meets the Terminator.
Yes, it looks like Groot with like red eyes. And it's like, who are these people?
This universe has, very early on in the movie, Mila Jovovich's witch character does like some kind of weird like seance thing where she's able to like view the point of view of a werewolf in like a distant land. And you're like, okay, so it's like a fantasy thing.
Yeah.
Because she's a witch and there's a werewolf. But then there's like, there's like demon cyborgs, dragons.
Okay, so there's the queen of this fucked up world they live in, goes to Mila Jovovich, who's a witch, who's like, I cannot turn down any request if you have like, payment or something. And she's the queen. She's a real like kind of backstabbing wife to this guy. What's his name? The fucking leader?
Baron Sleepy.
Yeah. She's married to the king, and he's kind of like an invalid. He's just in bed being fat, like hooked up to machines. And she's just like, I have the money. I want you to go and find me a werewolf.
Yeah, she's coming to her in secret.
Yes.
Because Mila is wanted by the Christian state. The movie starts with Mila. The first shot of the movie is insanely hilarious. It's a close-up of Mila Jovovich's blank face, choking. She's hanging, and her feet are supporting her, standing on like a cross. Mm-hmm. And the scene is that like she's being hanged for like crimes against God or something for being a witch.
Yeah.
And then she escapes. And the people who see her escape start chanting, "The witch that will not die.
The witch that cannot be hanged.
The witch that will not be hanged. The witch that will not be hanged."
And
they start chanting it for some reason.
The way that she avoids hanging is so funny. She is able to just kind of like look at people and get in their brain and like show them a false reality. Like, she looks at one of the guards. Oh, first of all the guards, like, the main bad girl of the movie is just like, "Oh, Mila Jovovich, we found you." Well, her name's, like, Gray Alice, Mila Jovovich's character, which is funny because she played Alice in the Resident Evil movies. It's like, really, Paul? Yeah. It's his real-life wife. You can't write, like, another name.
Yeah, for people who don't know, every movie that Paul W.S. Anderson makes stars his real-life wife, Mila Jovovich, who's always the main character and is one of the worst actresses of all time.
She's not great, I'll put it politely, but she's able to just, like, look into somebody's eyeballs and, like, she makes this dude think that he is hanging. So he's like, "Oh, I gotta go shoot the rope off there." And then, turns out Mila Jovovich escapes from that. And then she makes the guy shoot his comrades by making him think that they are her. And then at first you're just like, okay, so she just can like control people's brains. But what they don't really say until about 2/3 through the movie is that what she's actually doing is looking into their eyes and controlling them. She needs to have like eye contact with somebody, and the distance can be vast. Because there's a certain part where a lady's looking through a sniper scope, and that eye contact counts.
Yes.
So it's like, what are the rules here? And so this is just like screenwriting 101. It's not set up correctly exactly what she's doing. And this is like kind of the first sign where you're just like, why? What?
We were all asking the movie. We were all talking to the screen at once, like, wait, what are her powers? Because she does like mind control trickery, and then she like jumps into this like it's hard to explain. It's like the mouth of a cave kind of where she's being hanged. Mm-hmm. And then she goes into the cave and like these soldiers follow her to like try to find her. They all look like the Mad Max Flyboys. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about? The white chalk people.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I forget their name.
Everything in this movie is just from something else.
Yeah.
But she's like picking them off one by one, but she's like somehow like pulling them. She's like a skinny little woman and she's like yanking these people through walls and stuff. And it's like, oh, so she's like really strong. And then it's down to one girl, the main girl that wants her dad, who's like, "You are going to be hanged for your crimes." They just like jump cuts to that girl now being hanged. And it's like, well, how did you do that alone? Once that scene is done, she just like goes home. Like the government wants her dead, but she's just like at her house.
At her place of business.
And then the queen of the world shows up and says, "I want to be a werewolf."
And you're like, okay, so this isn't based really in like reality. At this point, you realize you're just like, okay, anything can go. But you're also wondering, is this sci-fi? Is this fantasy? Yeah. Is it horror? And the answer is yes. Yes to everything.
Specifically, the scene where the queen asks Mila to be the werewolf is so like out of left field and not understandable that we forgot it.
Yeah.
Because then like 20 minutes in, after like maybe 3 or 4 more scenes had passed, I was like, wait, guys, because Mila's on this quest to go find a werewolf. I'm like, wait, why is she doing this? And then Chris is like, because the queen wants to be a werewolf. And I was like, what? He's like, remember, she came to her and she's like, I want to be a werewolf. And I'm like, wait, why?
Yes. Mila like does some MK Ultra remote viewing and finds out where the werewolf is. And he's just like in this weird like open area full of skulls, which is we later learn is called like Skull River. And he's just like fist fighting like villagers and killing them. And it's like, I don't think werewolves just like do that. Not that they're real, but it's the most bizarre portrayal of a werewolf.
Actually, we know the werewolves don't do that. Yeah, it's the queen's request to be a werewolf it's pretty straightforward of like, it's like, I think this would be cool. So can you do that for me? And also don't tell anyone that I asked for this. And Mila's like, I cannot turn down anyone's request, so I now have to do this for you. And the queen's like, thanks, you're doing me a solid. And then one of the next scenes is like the queen talking to the husband, the king, and she's like, you know, you're scum, you're a pig, you're fat, I hate you. And there's one man who's not a pig. Jump cut to Dave Bautista kissing her on the steps of their castle in full view of anyone. And she's like, oh, please stay. And he's like, I got to get home before anyone sees. And then there's like 2 guards that immediately see him. And then they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, and he just kills them.
Yes, he gets a mouthful of like alcohol because he's drinking like from a flask. And then he just like takes out a lighter and spits the alcohol in the face of a guy and lights him on fire and then smacks the other guy like upside the head with his bottle.
Yeah.
And he just falls down the steps. And it's like, if you don't want to be caught.
and he's not like, and he's just like casually walking. And we should explain, it's a huge castle with like 1,000,000 stairs that lead down into like the shitty city, and it's lit with like these huge torches that light up all the stairs, and it's like no one's gonna see it. Doesn't make any sense. You're like, wait, is he sneaking out? But then he kills the guards, and then it's like, I forget if this happens before or after, you see him in like some kind of fucking like like a highway tunnel thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I were a man trying to ambush a man, I would do it here. And then these people come out trying to like rob him.
Yeah, some highwayman who just want to rob.
What was the point of that scene?
To show that he's a badass like hunter.
Yeah.
He has, and this is one thing where I'm just like, okay, so what are the rules here? He has like a rifle on his horse, like in one of the rifle sheaths. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys pulls it out and like tries to shoot him with it, but the rifle doesn't work. And there's like a 2-headed snake wrapped around it, which lunges off the rifle and kills this guy. And you're like, okay, so there's like, are there like familiars in here? Do they have enchanted animals?
Yeah.
And that really is like the one-off, just like bizarre animal.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Because he sees a snake later that just has a normal head.
And he's like examining it. We both said the same thing. We said the same thing at the same time, which is like, damn, if only it had 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, okay, so he has a 2-headed snake, and that's just a given.
He loves his snake.
Yeah, like I said, they really throw everything at the wall here. Like, this is written by George R.R. Martin. This is based off a short story of his. Yeah. And it's just every trope. Did he write this when, like, he was 14 or something? Is this, like, his first work? Either the rights to option it is just, like, $10?
Either that or his short story was extremely vague, and it was just like, you know, told from the perspective of the Bautista character of like, there was one time I met a witch who brought me to a thing, but I was the werewolf, or, you know, spoilers.
Who cares? Yeah.
But Bautista is like, he's an undefined guy, but he just seems like a drifter who's like good at killing people or something. Mm-hmm. And he's also fucking the Queen of Earth or something.
Yeah.
Next time we see him, Mila just walks into a bar, which looks like it's like straight out of Fallout 3. Mm-hmm. And he's just like sitting at a table alone holding cards, and he's just kind of like shuffling them. And she's like, I hear you are a man who can take me to the land of this river with the skulls. And he's like, I'm here to play cards. She sits down to play cards with him. He looks at his cards and he's like, oh my God, I got like he's like, I have a pair. I'm going to go all in.
Yeah.
Like, immediately. And then she has like
a full house or something.
Yeah. She has like 3 aces. Yeah. And he's like, shit, I lost all my money. So like immediately they're now endeared to each other or something, and she's like, I need to travel a distance, and I hear that you know how to get here. And it's like, and he's like, I'm expensive. Then the Christians come in and they're like, Batista and Mila, your ass is grass, and they like start attacking. The snake leaps at the bad lady who cuts it in half.
Yeah. Jump
cut to them riding horses, and it's like morning. It's like the next day. And he just goes, that bitch killed my snake.
Yeah, out of nowhere, he really is like, fuck.
And then they just continue riding. It's so awkward. Like, that is what Paul really exceeds at the scene where what is being said, why it's being said, where it's being said, how it's said, all wrong.
Mm-hmm. I do love this because there is like a framing device once they leave the city, because she needs to go to the werewolf's lair, kill it in the lair to get its powers. How? I don't know. But there's a framing device where it's like 6 days until the full moon where the werewolf will be like strong or something.
Oh, yeah. She says that she says that to harvest the werewolf's power, you need the fur of the wolf, which means you need the werewolf to come out during a full moon, which the next one will be in 6 days. So she needs to get there before that so that she can meet the werewolf and cut off his fur.
Yes. And it's very funny because it says, there's a thing of like, 6 days, dude, you got to get to Bone City, whatever the fuck it's called, to get the werewolf. They waste so much time in the movie that we were laughing. There were like entire scenes where it's just them sitting outside and it's just like, yeah, being a witch is hard. It's like, being a hunter's hard. And then it just fades to black and it's like, all right, day 4 done. It's like, hurry, please. Please get a little pep in your step.
I think when they leave, I think they have a week, right? It's like 7 days.
Yeah.
The movie starts at day 1 out of 7.
Sure, yeah.
And I think like by minute 20 of the movie, they're on their journey, right? And it's like, clock tick, and it's day 6. By minute 30 of the movie, it's like day 2. Like
yes,
they've already or we have 2 days left. Like the days, it's like one scene and then it's like a day. And we were all of us in unison were like, that was a day.
Yeah.
And then you jokingly said, you're like, what if like the last hour of this movie is just like the second half of day 1? And then that is exactly what happened.
Yeah, they really have like no like consistent like pacing in the storytelling.
Yeah.
It's just like, days like 1 through 4, just like, yeah, we're on the road. Dang. Fucking evil Christian ladies after us.
And there's a map there's like a Lord of the Rings map that they show on the screen every now and then, and they're not, it's like there's like all these different points, and it's like, the Fire Hills, the River of Bones, the whatever. Mm-hmm. They're more than halfway through their time. They're like a third of the way through the journey. And you're like, how is this doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And then on like the last day before the lunar thing, they're still like halfway through the map.
Yeah.
And you're like, is Paul does he understand? Like, his movies are so devoid of like the easiest logic, the easiest things to do of like, hey, I'm at least going to time it out such that halfway through the movie, they're at least halfway towards the thing.
Sure.
The stuff that you take for granted is so not only not done, but it's like so just like middle finger to the idea of that it feels like it has to be a choice.
Well, Caleb, I think I have an answer to that. How much do you think that this movie cost to make? It looks like shit, by the way, for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have like a really good production value to it, but everything is CG, and that can add up if it's everything.
Yeah, I will say it looks like shit in terms of like I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, it's garbage. But it does look expensive. It looks like it's everything's way too busy. Like it looks like it probably cost a fuck ton to do because everything's CGI and like the render time for all the little details because every scene has a million things in it. So. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would guess that this was at least 100.
Interesting. So for the record, this movie came out literally this year. So this is $20-$25.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
According to Hulu, it is 2025.
I thought this was from like 2023.
You would be mistaken if you thought this was from like 2008.
Wow.
But you actually overshot it. It is $55 million.
Whoa.
This was filmed all in Poland somehow. I've heard of movies being filmed like in Serbia or Romania for like tax purposes, like a lot of Steven Seagal movies. And honestly, sometimes it is easier just to film like in the Balkans than like walk across the lot because of like stupid shit.
Yeah.
But Caleb, $55 million. Theatrical release, because box office. How much money do you think this made?
Did it play in China?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let's say yes, but probably not.
Because I was thinking, like, with the Christianity, it's like, I don't know if they'd allow it. 10 million, and that's 99% international, not domestic.
It's your favorite number, Caleb. 6 million. It made $6 million. It lost about $50 million.
Oh, do you think it made like 271,000, but they're like inflated to 6 million?
Yeah, that's the numbers it made in Poland.
That's what they call Hollywood accounting, and they call it Hollywood accounting.
That's the Hollywood cost.
Holy shit! Wow, so this should be like a career-ending bomb.
This is his most recent movie he's made, and we'll get into Monster Hunter later. But I will say this: Monster Hunter was not as big a flop as this. Monster Hunter did lose money. I mean, I guess I can just say right now, Monster Hunter I think was 60 mil, made 48. Whoa. And I mean, yeah, it looked lame. So I mean, people aren't going to go out and see like a lame action movie.
Yeah,
that just looks kind of bland and has T.I. in it. Really, he's in it for like 30 minutes and gets like eaten by a scorpion.
I was so excited to see him.
Yeah,
tip.
But man, I think that Paul probably is not going to get trusted with a bigger budget again.
Yeah, he'll just have to keep. He's like he's like the monorail guy from The Simpsons. He just needs to show up to a new foreign country with a suitcase and be like, "So what if I told you it'd be really bad?"
He's gonna be filming like North Korean propaganda at this point.
Oh yeah, we were joking. Yeah, he's gonna have to go to Russia and make Nation's Pride for them.
Yeah.
Once the main characters are on their way towards the River of Skulls. Yeah. We are introduced to this guy who's named the Patriarch, who's giving a sermon in like what is kind of like a church setting, I guess. And he's talking about like how it is important to be pious and to listen to and obey the people who know God because God will punish the wicked or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's an insanely like heavy-handed, like if you're Christian, you're part of a fascist like dictatorship or something thing that's just like, I just was watching this and I was like, I would love to listen to Paul try to explain anything about his opinions on this.
Yeah, we had a theory going that Paul became a libtard at some point in like 2016 because Paul in 2016 did his last Resident Evil movie. And for some reason in that movie, none of the other ones, there's a character in there who's just like quoting scripture. He's like the antagonist. Mm-hmm. And he's doing it in a very odd way. He's wearing like, the Christian necklace and everything. And it's just like, where did this come from? Because none of the other characters spoke like this. I have a feeling that Paul kind of lived out at a certain point and is just like, anytime he can, not in Monster Hunter because that's a China movie, he probably is just like, oh, look at these evil Christians. And now, because of them, I don't make money anymore in my movies. That's my going theory because it seems like it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I really don't understand it.
Oh, it's okay. So when you say we, you meant you and Chris because you guys watched this movie recently,
the collective.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah. I just had this idea in my head and then I just like forgot about it until just now because it's very brief. Anyway, we meet this guy, Patriarch. His name is Patriarch. Mm-hmm. And then he's talking to the queen and she says something or other about like an heir or something. And he's like, that's right, my queen, only the best for you. Jump cut to this like train that's like hauling ass somewhere with the villains on it. And he's speaking over radio and he's like, this horror queen is lying and we need to find the witch because they're in cahoots and we need to bring her back so she can confess their deeds or something. And it's like, how do you know any of this?
And he's like, kill the witch and the whore. And it's like, okay, dude.
And we were all watching, we're like, what the fuck? What? Are they competing for power? Is the Patriarch wanting to be the king?
There's no lore.
How does he know about the werewolf pact? Why does the queen want to be a werewolf?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you feel like this would be a bigger thing if people knew they could become werewolves.
His movies make you feel like you're crazy. Because you're like, hang on, I watched every scene, I listened to every word. How do I not know what I'm looking at?
He gaslights you. Yeah, he's just like, oh, you don't understand why the queen wants to be a werewolf randomly. You don't understand what the Skull River is, you fucking dumbass. That's what it feels like. It's like, Paul, please, I'm trying to pay attention.
Yeah, the movie is it's really hard to summarize the middle because almost nothing happens. It's just like we go here, we go there, we stop.
Yeah.
They stop at like this cabin where Batista fucks some girl, and then the second they leave, the bad guys show up and kill them.
Yeah.
And then they're like at like a crossing. There's like this big cavern, like this big space between two mountains. And there's like a little tightrope with a school bus.
He has a cable car. Yeah.
A cable car, thank you. They can like bring it across. And they have a fight scene there.
Oh my God. Yes. So at first, Dave Bautista's like, okay, I know this guy. He works the cable car. We have to pay him like a silver coin. And he walks into his office and the dude has just like hung himself. Yeah. And then it turns out the Christians are just like, we knew he was going to help you. So we like killed him. And it's like, okay, maybe he wasn't going to. Yeah. Because apparently you need to pay him. So you just killed a guy.
Yeah.
They go to the cable car as they're getting chased by the evil pseudo-Christians. He takes his gun and like shoots the winch to like start the cable car to go, which is so funny when they do that.
Such a Pirates of the Caribbean moment.
Yes. They start going. Some of the little Christian zealots like jump on, and you can see there's maybe like 5, 6 that jump onto the cable car with them. During the fight scene, they knock literally 20 of them out.
Way more.
It's crazy.
Way more. So you see, I would agree. You see like somewhere between 5 and 10, maybe closer to 10 than 5, maybe. You see a handful of men climb on top of this school bus and try to get inside. Cut to the interior of the school bus. They're flying in through the windows. Mila and Batista are killing them left and right, knocking them out of the place. You see one go, another. And we're like, at a certain point, we were like, didn't they run out of guys?
Yeah.
Then it cuts to a shot outside the school bus where like one of them is climbing on top and there's like 15 climbing from the underside to the top. And we're like, where did they come from?
They're in the middle of a valley.
Yeah, They're over the middle of nowhere. It's like, where are they coming from? And then it cuts back to the interior and there's more swinging through the windows. And it's like that scene in A Christmas Story where like the robbers are coming out of every witch. Like they just like, there's like infinite men just like, and it's like, where the fuck?
He might have to be the dumbest director I've ever seen.
He has to be. Well, do you remember the Resident Evil, the shower scene?
The shower scene. Remind me of that. Which one was that in?
It's in like 1 or 2. It's in one of the early ones where Mila's like clearing corners in a shower. And there's a shot where the shower's like the water's running. And then there's like another angle where you can see all the same stuff and the shower's not on, but you still hear it.
Was that in the prison?
Maybe.
Okay, I know that.
And it just holds on that, and then it cuts to the other shot, and it's on again, and then it cuts to another shot, and it's off. But you hear it the whole time, and you're like, and it's one of the most blatant continuity errors of all time.
Yeah.
Capital A, all time, and it's like, wait. And his movies are full of shit like that. So it's like, are you doing this so that you can create cult classics to people like Chris who have whatever mental illness you have? Or are you literally the worst director of all time? I think it's the second one. It has to be.
Well, I wouldn't put it past Chris being insane, but yeah, I think he might just... Does he just like not care? Like in general, is this a giant shitpost? Like we think Neil Breen is like in on the joke?
I asked Chris about that when you were struggling to stay awake during Monster Trucks? What's it called?
Truckosaurus.
Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc. Yeah.
When you were trying to stay awake during Monsters Inc., I asked Chris at one point, I'm like, Chris, I need to understand something about this guy because I'm guessing you've looked into him. Does he get something out of, like, is he like into video games? Like, what is the fun part of this? And Chris is like, the fun part is that he makes money doing it. I'm like, yeah, but you could make money making any kind of movie. I'm like, why does he make these? And it seems like he doesn't give a shit. So like, what is the thing that draws him to it? And Chris is like, I really couldn't tell you.
I really don't know either. It's baffling.
Yeah.
I think he might just be inept.
I think he is probably the worst director in terms of like people who are in the Directors Guild of America, you know?
Yeah, who have like an actual body of work where you can like definitely, they have like, you know, a confirmed style, not like a one-off person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who are like bland, like George Clooney as a director, where it's like, kind of, it ranges from like dog shit to like fine, I guess. But with Paul, it's for somebody who's worked as much as he does. It's shocking that nobody's like pulled him aside and is like, Paul, look, buddy, there's something called continuity you should have in your movies, and also you should not write your own scripts anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I remember when we were talking about when we did our Monahan episode, I was like, yeah, George Clooney's an abysmal director.
Yeah.
Count your blessings. Oh my God. After watching The Land Before Time or whatever this is called, I'm like, dude, The Tender Bar is like fucking like, that's like Inglourious Bastards level like perfection compared to this shit, you know?
Yeah, I would rewatch The Tender Bar before I watched either of these again.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been such a snob. I mean, like this movie, this really is like if your kids are being shitty, you show them this and you say, hey, you better act right or I'm going to replace all the movies at home with this.
I feel like, because we talked about this in an earlier episode of how when you're a kid and you recognize that a movie's bad, that's a mark that it is really bad. I feel like if I had kids and they were acting up and I put this on for them, they'd be like, Dad, I'll be good. I'm sorry, whatever. I'll clean my room. Yeah. I'll apologize to Mom.
They're banging on the door and you're on the other side just like kind of, doing your best to hold back like an army of children who are like, please, like they're being cast. And
Daddy. Yeah, I this should count as like domestic violence if you show this to your family.
The finale or whatever you'd call it, the culmination of this story kind of kicks off with the patriarch being killed. The queen is pregnant with Batista's baby, and she's not aware that he's out of town on this journey.
Yeah,
because we'll get to it. It seems like she doesn't care about him because she's now dating this like Lord Farquaad looking guy.
Yeah, who's like her advisor, like her right-hand man. Who, when she goes to the witch, is just like, hey, don't make her a werewolf. Yeah. And Mila takes like his like heirloom timepiece and gives it to Dave Bautista, who like has an insane connection to it somehow. They're not related by any means, but he's just like, oh.
Meaningful.
I guess.
For some reason.
Like I said, there's no lore. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make
He's
any
just
sense.
like, yeah, you can have this, man.
Yeah.
She does sleep with her advisor, Lord Farquaad. And he is kind of really like a nothing character. He's just meant to be like set up early on that there is some kind of like disagreement among the higher ups and that she's, going too far. But nothing really besides that happens with him. And then at some point she just like kills him.
She is gloating about the fact she's pregnant, she's going to be queen. Patriarch then gets on the phone with the train of bad guys chasing Batista and is like, I really fucking mean it. Get this fucking witch back here ASAP so we can kill this fucking queen.
Yeah.
He hangs up the phone and then is immediately assassinated prison style, like in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
By like the Farquaad guy, who is like, you're treasonous to the queen.
He gets stabbed 100 times.
Yeah, and it's like, how do they know? But again, there's no way. It doesn't make any sense. But it's just like everyone's just omnipotent. They just can tell that he's against the queen or suspects her of cheating on the king. Oh, and she smothered him. She killed the king too.
Yeah, so that
with a pillow.
So that she would basically get like interim power.
Right.
And then she gets pregnant with an heir who they believe is the king's son. And then because the king's son isn't going to like be able to rule until he's 16, which they say like in one of the last scenes of the movie. So she will basically be a ruler for at least 16 years.
Yes. And be able to secure and maybe change the rules and become bigger queen.
Yeah.
Super queen.
Mm-hmm. She's a real queen.
She's a real queen. Oh, she is a real queen.
Yeah, she's a sister.
We was queens.
Yeah.
We was queens.
Queens. We was queens and shit.
We pick up back with Batista and Mila, who are in this like nuclear power plant fighting off Groot zombies.
Yeah, for no reason. I don't know why they're here.
And then she says, she's like, I knew these men when they were men, and then the demons came and something. And then they just kind of walk a little bit further, and now they're at the River of Skulls. Mm-hmm. And there's like a shack that's abandoned. And Batista, they walk inside. There's like, there's like tables, clothes, tools. And Batista's like, I think somebody lives here.
Yeah, you think?
We're like the world's best hunter, huh? Like they kind of inspect the area. Then the moon starts coming out and he's like, and you're like, I get it. He's the werewolf. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Got it. And then Mila's like, you were the werewolf. Oh, by the way, Mila Jovovich doesn't make one expression in this entire movie. She is stone faced with her mouth vaguely like kind of Taylor Swift kind of thing where your mouth is always like slightly open kind of thing. The whole film, it drove me fucking nuts.
I think she's had too much Botox and she just can't express anything on her face anymore.
Has to be. Has to be, because there's no reason anyone whose profession is actor should not be able. She is giving the most just like, I am not even going to pretend. It's literally like she's reading her lines off a cue card. Yeah. Like that's how little there is behind it. But she's like, oh my God, you are the werewolf and you are the one who I need to kill. And you tricked me. And you are the werewolf, Dave Bautista. Bryce, you were the werewolf. And you're like, oh my God, please.
You were the werewolf. You were my friend. And you were that werewolf. Yeah.
You're the werewolf. He transforms into a werewolf for like 90 seconds. It looks terrible.
It really does.
They have a CGI werewolf fight with some of the worst slow motion of all time. Like Zack Snyder level, like just bizarre, needless slow motion. She beats him by creating the illusion of a crow that's flying at him.
Yes, and then he goes like mode and is just like, the crow is real, and then like starts attacking the crow like an actual like dog would. And then he jumps on it, and then Mila has like Raphael from like Ninja Turtles had like the size or something. Yeah. She has like a curved version of that and just like stabs him.
She has these like cat claw brass knuckles.
Yeah.
And she's standing. I want to point this out. The illusion earlier in the movie, when she uses illusions to make people do things, the illusion that people are seeing is of something that isn't real, but that they would have a reason to either attack or move or whatever. In this final scene, she creates this bird. Why would he give a fuck? Yeah. It's a bird. Mm-hmm. Number two, when it's flying at him and he like goes up to attack it, the illusion was that she was really just right in front of him. He could have accidentally just mauled her because he swings at the bird and just his hand goes through it, but she's standing right there.
Yes.
So she didn't distract him to look that way so she can sneak up behind him and like cut his throat. She just has him run at her, but there's a imaginary bird 1 foot in front of her face. He swings at the bird, and I guess he swung so hard he can't recover to then hit her. So she just starts slicing up his chest like crazy style. He collapses and turns back into a human. And then she's like, by the way, I knew you were a werewolf. And it's like, if you knew, wait, what?
It's like,
you, what?
What? Why not? What?
And then there's like a usual suspects flashback of like scenes in the movie. And those scenes, it's just like random moments that don't actually tell you anything.
Yeah.
It's just like lines of dialogue from earlier, but it's like in your mind, it's like the Kuleshov effect. You're meant to see it and be like, that's connected. The only thing that you do see in these flashbacks that is new is like she put silver in his wound.
Yeah, she's just like, I put silver in your blood, by the way. And it's like, okay.
And that does what?
I guess because vampire or werewolves don't like silver, silver bullets. But then,
so then why did he become a werewolf if has silver in him?
Why did he still turn into a werewolf? Why didn't he just like instantly die from silver poisoning? If that's like, if that's what kills him. That's like telling a vampire, I've been microdosing you with garlic.
Yeah.
It's like,
I stuffed a clove of garlic in a wound of yours when you were asleep. And then the vampire's like, oh, you bitch. And it's like, well, it clearly didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because you've been fine.
Like I said, there's no lore.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? She's like, I knew you were a werewolf and I've been like prepping you for this. And it's like, if she knew he was the werewolf and she needs to get the werewolf skin on the 7th day, why didn't she just hang out for a week and then collect his fucking fur back in town? Why did they go on this excursion to the place where the werewolf is if the werewolf they were already both in the same place?
Well, she has to go, she says a couple times, she's like, oh, you have to kill it in its lair. But also he doesn't, I do have a question about this too. Why does he not recognize the house if it's like his house lair. Because I assume when he's done doing his werewolf activities, he wakes up in the house and is like, oh, fuck, what a bender or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I get, like, if he won't have memory of it, it's like, I assume he still recognizes the house, but he gets there and he's like, what the fuck?
And he remembers it at the end of the movie when he's talking, he remembers this whole ordeal. So it's like, so this is the one time you remember it. But not the times where you killed so many people that there's a river of skulls.
Yes. He has like a Vlad the Impaler, like skulls on pikes outside his house. Yeah. And he's like, damn.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, that was me? Like, he's surprised he was the werewolf. But then he remembers that he learned he was the werewolf.
It makes no sense. And this is why at the end we're like, what is going on? This is why I don't really understand the ending. I don't know how this ends.
Okay. So we're going to do our best here.
Yeah.
Once she kills him and cuts off his like fur, or she ties him up and then he becomes a werewolf while tied up, she does something to kill him. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Cuts off like part of his back. She sticks a knife in his chest and just starts like dragging it down his body. Cut to, she's at the Queen's palace delivering this like pelt. And she says, you need to do your thing. She's like, you need to lick the blood off it, or
you need to do the ritual like right away.
Yeah,
because like the moon is still fucked up.
Yeah, and she's like, it needs to be tonight before the lunar cycle ends. You got to do your thing, or else you won't be able to be like Queen Werewolf.
Yeah,
and then she's like, wait, this is Dave Bautista's werewolf skin, isn't it? And then Lord Farquaad is like, yeah. And then she's like, he was my secret boyfriend. I wanted to be a werewolf so him and I could be werewolf buddies.
Yes. it's like what? What do you, so you knew he was a werewolf and you wanted to find another werewolf? What?
It makes no, and then it does a second Usual Suspects flashback scene of them where she's like talking to him and she's like, you said that you could only love someone, because he's like a real like wine him and dine him type. And she's like, well, I wish you would settle down for me, the Queen of Earth. And he's like, I don't know, baby. And she's like, well, what if I was a werewolf too? Would you like me more then? He's like, actually, I would.
Interesting, yeah.
And then it's like, he doesn't. So then them having had this conversation, Bautista is not at. So he knows he's a werewolf in the flashbacks.
But then she's
So he knows, and then he doesn't know, and then he knows. Because in the flashbacks, she's like, you are a werewolf, Dave Bautista, and I want to be one too with you. And he's like, you're right, bitch. Then he forgot he's a werewolf. There's no reason why when Mila's like, we need to go catch this fucking werewolf out in the outback, there's no reason why he shouldn't know that he's the target, because he knows he's a werewolf. Yeah. And she's been commissioned by the Queen, his girlfriend, who wants to be a werewolf. It is the most plot.
Yeah, I really don't understand how this passes any kind of like script treatment or like any like editing, because anybody reading it is like, wait, hold on. There are insane plot holes here. Stuff that literally just doesn't make sense on paper.
Yeah.
My God, what a film. Well, this is I mean, we're pretty ahead of the curve. If this isn't nominated for like every Razzie, I don't know what else could be.
I think it was you, or maybe it was Chris. Somebody said while we were watching this, like, the most like 10-year-old fantasy movie screenplay treatment is better than this. Like,
it really is just like, yeah, so I live in an apocalyptic world, and I also have werewolves and witches, and there's a dragon and a zombie, and Groot's there. My friend Groot is in Chernobyl.
but he ain't like close with his side bitch, so she want to be like a werewolf so that they can be like, what the fuck?
It's so funny. It's everything. There's no lore and there's tons of lore at the same time. Yeah.
You can have tons of lore but no lore. Or
you have unlimited lore but no lore in this fucking movie. Oh my God, it's so bad.
Holy shit. Oh, and then a staple of these two movies, it has like 3 conclusions. It has so many moments where like, oh, this is the end, right? Mm-hmm. After this like flashback, it then cuts to fucking Mila Jovovich in her house.
Yeah.
And Bautista walks in. The movie starts with Bautista just walking into a close-up, looking at the camera, being like, this is not a fairy tale.
Yeah.
This is a story of good and evil. And then he's like, and what follows is real fucked up about like he says like a brave woman who saved me and saved the both of us from the worst fate. And so then before this scene happens where you realize this is the wraparound, I remember saying out loud, like, why the fuck did he say at the beginning that she saved him? I thought he's dead now.
Yeah.
It shows that when the queen was distraught and not wanting to wear the pelt of her dead boyfriend, it then like melts into like ashes that float up into the sky, travel miles away to the burial site of Batista, land in there, and then the skulls start like shaking like he's about to like punch through like the fist of Dracula. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to black, and I was like, whoa, they're doing sequel bait. But then it fades back up, and Batista has like Frankenstein stitches all over his face.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm alive again, and I'm gonna kill you. He swings a knife at her. She like catches his knife and swings her own at him, which he catches with his other hand. They have a Mexican standoff with their knives, and then she's like, I saved you on purpose. Third Usual Suspects flashback scene where it is literally random shots from the movie of him just like looking at her and her voiceover of like, and I understood what you wanted and where you needed to be, so I planned this whole thing where everything would be good at the end for us. And like nothing's changed.
Yeah.
They have not affected anything with anybody. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's changed is that the leader of the church is now dead, which was the Queen's doing. And then he's like, we're now going to ride. And then it just cuts them on horseback riding off into the sunset. And then it says directed by Paul W.S.
And you're like, oh, okay, wait. So like 90 things just happened. And I understand like maybe 2 of them.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's so baffling. How do you, because I feel like if any other person tried to get the script made as the script was, any company, like, you know, would be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Is this like you know in Ed Wood?
Is this a Matan Evans sketch?
Yes, in Ed Wood when he shows a guy his movie and he's just like, oh, I get it. This is a guy playing a prank on us.
Yeah.
I would feel like I'm getting pranked by like an actual like writer. He'd be like, hey, you know, here's what some wrote.
Yeah.
I really like it. You're like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Did Paul Thomas Anderson do this with AI? And this is revenge for that Reddit AMA with Paul W.S.
Yeah.
I bet it is. And you're like, no, this is a real movie. They're like, what?
$55 million.
Yeah. This is a real film on the release schedule, actually. Yeah, so that's what's in the Lost Lands.
In the Lost Lands.
And the Lost Lands, by the way, is code for like the wild territory.
I guess so. It's very vague. They're just like, people live in the city, and then also the Lost Lands are there.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, is there like really a map? And it's like, well, you get like a line of where they go, which is that weird Lord of the Rings map you were talking about earlier.
The map is also drawn like in did it.
Yeah.
It's like points. It's like if you had a line graph with like where you charted data and every data point was like this one's slightly higher, this one's slightly lower, this one's slightly higher. It's just a zigzag.
It's a squiggly line. Yeah.
It's a squiggly line horizontally of just like child names for things. It's so much like Zack Snyder. I'm sure. I mean, we need to watch Rebel Moon. It's probably better, but like it's the same thing where it's like these like him, Paul W.S. and Snyder. They have the same like 10-year-old brain. It's like offensively stupid.
This is the ultimate. That is a good way to say it. This is the ultimate like 10-year-old movie where it's like you don't know how to write movies, and you're like, I'll just put cool things in it, and it will be cool and make sense.
Yeah, and it's like you're 58 years old
and married and have an actual career in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and have made watchable movies.
Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson made Boogie Nights when he was 25, and you're over double that age, and you're making 10-year-old slop.
Paul W.S. Anderson made AIDS when he was 59. Seriously, I felt bad after this. Is like a disease movie, yeah.
This is one of the we need to make a list and rank like the IMDb top 250. It's like Shawshank and then like Dark Knight, Godfather. You know,
Mm-hmm.
We need to rank these, and this one, oh my God,
yeah. I would agree.
Hurts your brain.
It does.
Hurts your brain, and if you try to understand it, you will feel like sick. We felt sick after.
It's an unknowable question.
Yeah.
They should put this up. You know in Good Will Hunting, they have that thing on the board where it's like, and nobody's been able to solve this. They should have this in film school where it's like, tell me the ending of In the Lost Lands, and if you do, you graduate today.
It's like The Big Sleep.
Oh, yeah?
Did Chris ever tell you that story?
No.
When he was in like a film class in like high school,
Yeah.
they like watched The Big Sleep, and it was like, all right, and if you can explain the plot, and Chris was the only person who understood the movie.
Really?
Yeah. He has a special power.
And so that's why he loves Paul W.S. He can understand. He's an empath, I guess.
He must, yeah.
Wow.
He helped us understand. We would not, as much as we missed in this movie, we would have missed way more if he wasn't there to answer our questions.
Even in Monster Hunter, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we're going to have to say about it, because there really isn't almost anything to Monster Hunter.
No, and I fell asleep for quite a bit of it.
Yeah, and I was looking at Twitter for half of it.
Yeah.
Not half, actually, but like 30 minutes in the middle.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter is a video game where you are in some kind of weird exotic land fighting monsters.
Basically, I played one on like the PSP, like when I was like 10 years old or something. Basically, the whole premise is you're a monster hunter in this world. You don't have like a kind of thing where you're transported, as far as I know, at least in the one I played. You just already exist in this world where there are big monsters and people pay bounties for you to kill like a giant snake or something, and you can team up with friends to fight like harder monsters and get more money. There are like, charming casts of characters. There's like cat people. You cook your own food from the monsters you kill, and that gives you buffs. And then, it's the cycle. That's the gameplay loop of kill monsters, get paid, level up, and kill stronger monsters and get paid more money.
Yeah.
It's a fairly engaging combat loop. I remember liking it when I was a kid. I never got into it, but a new game just came out, and it seems to be doing well. It's pretty popular. This came out in 2020. This was a COVID movie. And I don't know if I've ever seen, like, specifically an action movie of this caliber just be so boring and it doesn't even do anything interesting.
Monster Hunters is the exact opposite. It's the polar opposite of In the Lost Lands, in that In the Lost Lands is so full of mind-bendingly crazy shit that it's kind of fun. It kills you, but it's kind of fun. Monster Hunters is exceedingly dull. And there are things we've watched that are dull because like they're just really slow. This movie, it's shot like a real movie. It kind of looks sort of like just a generic action film. But there is insane slump.
Yes.
There is this movie is an hour 40, and from minute I think like 25 to 1 hour and 15 I think it was minutes in, what is that? That's 50 minutes. It is quite literally the exact same scene of someone in a desert, a monster, they run, they hide somewhere, the monster go away. They go, oh my God, monster's scary.
Yeah.
And then another monster come out and they go, oh my God, that's a monster. It was the most repetitive. I was like, my head was like spinning around like the Exorcist girl.
Yes.
You were like passing out. You were like having a seizure.
Yes. I remember at one point you were just like, is Nick asleep? And you like walked over to check on me, I know. It is the exact same scene, you're right. It is like the same two monsters. You have this big one who looks like a Deathclaw from Fallout 4, but for people who don't know, he just kind of is like almost like a weird like wingless dragon with horns.
Yeah.
And the other one is like this little scorpion thing.
Yeah, the monsters in the movie, there's like a dragon at the end, like an eagle dragon thing. There's like tons of these little like scorpion things that just looks like the monsters from Starship Troopers. Yeah. It's just so obvious that that's. And then the like main boss for like the first 2/3 of the movie is this thing. It kind of looks like the crabs from Deep Rock Galactic. It looks like the Cloverfield Paradox monster or the Cloverfield monster. It looks like every kind of rhinoceros headed big mean four-legged monster thing with like rock shell armor that you've seen in any video game or movie ever. It's the movie. I knew nothing about this going in. The movie starts with a shot of the dunes at night, and a fucking pirate ship is like flying through the sand.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
Instantly you're just like, okay, this is not the real world.
Yeah. And I was like, is this explained? Can you explain this to me?
I don't remember seeing this when I played the game, one of the games. No expert, but I don't remember there being just like pirate ships and sand dunes. I could be completely wrong, but that was one thing where I'm just like, I don't remember Monster Hunter taking place like mainly in the sand, because I remember like, you know, some sort of like forest, running water, kind of like how later in the movie they get to a place that has like herbivores and like there's like a stream and, you know, greenery. I remember that as a locale, but I don't remember just like pirate ships flying through the sand and just like this open expanse of just like boring bullshit. I don't remember that at all.
You just have to accept it. There's a pirate ship in the sand sailing like it would in the ocean somehow. And on this pirate ship are a bunch of like Filipinos or some Cambodians?
I guess so. The main guy in here is a guy named like Tony Jaa, who is a Thai like martial artist, and he's been in some famous martial arts movies like recently. None that I have seen, but if you're into that kind of thing, you'd be like, oh, that guy.
He reminded me of the guy from The Raid.
Yeah. I looked it up, and it's not him. I don't think he was in either of them, but he does kind of have like that type of, you know, demeanor. Like, kind of main character in a fighting movie energy.
He looks like a guy tortured in a crazy Asian prison for a million years kind of guy.
Yeah, and the thing that kind of sucks in this movie is from the things that I was, like, awake to see him in, because he doesn't really, like, talk with Mila Jovovich until, like, 45 minutes in.
Long time.
He is credited in, like, the subtitles we had on as speaking alien language, which I think is really funny. It's like, was he just speaking Thai? And they're just like, what is this gobbledygook that you're saying?
Yeah.
I love the idea of them just casting the foreigners and being like, just speak Somali. And we'll say that you have like a brain tumor and you're speaking crazy.
Yeah, that guy is on this ship as our like 10 to 15 crew members. And the ship is being steered by Ron Perlman, who looks like he's wearing like a lion's mane. What's up, Danny? Steering the ship is Ron Perlman, who's wearing like a lion's mane, is the only way I can describe it. He's wearing a wig and like sideburns that are insane. Yes. He doesn't say a word during this scene or make an expression. He's just staring dead ahead as this insane monster is like, it's like tunneling through the sand like the worms in Dune and like attacking their ship, killing a few people. The main alien Asian man is like knocked off the boat, lands in the sand, and he's like kind of dazed. And then it just says Monster Hunter. Cut to like Kuwait.
Here's the thing that we were chuckling at. So you see a Humvee with like a United Nations flag on it, and it just says like location coordinates. And I do want to look up what this is. This was filmed in South Africa. Yeah. But I'm just like, why not just like make a fake country or just say it's like Iraq or something? It's like they're on like a United Nations peacekeeping mission. But it's weird, they're all Army Rangers, and it's like, I don't think that's how the Rangers work. I think they don't work for the UN. I think the UN has their own, like, fighting, and this is a thing that I'm getting hung up on that doesn't matter, but it's like, why not just have them in UN helmets if they are part of the UN? Because you already have the flag. You already have, like, the, what do you call it, like, the rights to that flag. So obviously the UN was like, sure, you can make this stupid like Chinese movie. Why not just make them? You also had to like get permission from the U.S. like Army Rangers.
I didn't necessarily think anything of it, but it does seem like a needlessly convoluted. Again, the things where it's like it's just so off. Just make them just soldiers in Iraq, or something.
Make them.
But it's like, no, they're like United Nations peacekeepers in South Africa, and then the lower third. He has to be trolling us. Any movie, it'll say like, you know, in the most broad sense, it'll say like maybe somewhere in South Africa, undisclosed. Like it in the lower left hand corner of the screen, it says latitude, longitude, and then just it has coordinates. And you were like, we're watching it, you go, oh, that's where they are.
Yeah, I know that's
why
the top of my head.
Us this? Like, it's not going to be helpful to anybody.
I also hate details like this in movies where it's like, if somebody's watching this in a theater, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, so 36 minutes north. And it's like nobody knows that off the top of their head unless they're like guiding missiles.
Oh, Rhodesia, I got it. Yeah. Like, no one's going to fucking know what this means.
That's why they're monsters here, because it's Rhodesia. Modern day Rhodesia. Yeah. It's full of scary monsters.
Mila, this is where we're introduced to Mila Jovovich, who I will say I've only ever seen her in Paul W.S. Anderson films, which is to say the one we watched earlier in the night that we already discussed, and the Resident Evil films, all of which where she does not make one single expression. She is deadpan delivery for everything.
Yeah.
In this movie, I will say, she's kind of trying to sort of act like how a person acts in a movie.
She has some facial acting.
Props. I would give her at least like a D+ for this.
Yeah, I would say honestly, of the two like main characters, Tony Jaa, who plays like, you know, her counterpart, he doesn't even speak her language, but he is also acting, and you can tell that he's like animated, and he is trying.
Yeah.
You know, for being a martial art actor. Yeah, he was acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the soldiers in the desert, they run into T.I., who's Oppen. He's Oppenheimer out
He's
there.
the Opp from Counter-Strike. And he's first of all, they drive up to him, and he's just like standing in the desert, and he's like, yo, sup?
In the middle of nowhere.
And it's just like, why did you leave him there? What is he possibly sniping?
Yeah, he's not like up in the hills where you could get some height and see anything.
Yes.
He's like in the middle of a valley.
Just the sand dunes.
Just standing there with a sniper. Yeah. They pick him up and they're like, all right, we got to go. Like Bravo team called in 5 minutes ago that there's like some weird fucking sandstorm. We got to go try to find him. And then the sandstorm is immediately upon them. There's like these weird pillars that have like Chinese writing on them. Mm-hmm. And then they drive past that. The pillars light up with like blue lightning. And then there's like a storm. And then their Humvee gets like knocked into a portal. And they tumble through the portal and land in a different desert, where they find Bravo team, who's like burnt to a crisp.
Oh yeah, they're all fucked up.
They're all dead, and they're like, they investigate it for a second, and then the main monster appears, chases them. They shoot at him like 1,000,000 times, nothing hurts him. Manage to get to this like rock formation where he can't really keep going, but there's now like 1,000,000 of these like scorpion crab things. That chase them and pretty much immediately overpower all of them, kill most of them, except T.I. and Mila Jovovich. She wakes up in a cocoon.
Yes.
And pulls herself out of it, and then T.I. jump scares her around a corner and is like, you need to help me, my chest hurts. Lifts his shirt, and he has little bugs growing out of like abscesses on his like nipple.
Yeah, and he's just going there like, He's doing like the most just act like you're screaming. Like act like you're in pain.
Yeah, it's the worst acting ever. And then he dies. He gets killed. Mila like crawls. There's like a light in the corner of a cave, and she crawls towards the light, and they don't like light, so they can't chase her.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Chinese man is like on a rock somewhere shooting arrows at the crabs.
Yeah.
They meet, and he like takes her sort of as captive. They have a fight, and then he falls in a cave, and they have the exact same scene again, but in reverse, where she saves him.
Okay, this is where I fell asleep.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, but from what I can tell, pretty much the entire next hour is just the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like we're together getting attacked by the little crab things and the big monster.
Yeah.
And then until eventually they, like, cross paths with Ron Perlman and, like, the other Chinese lady.
This is what broke my mind.
Okay.
So they spend near an hour, more than half the film. Well, actually, about half the film. 50 is half of an hour, 40. They spend half the film repeating the same thing of like, we kind of bicker and then a monster almost kills us. Until at one point, they just have the brilliant notion to just like, let's just walk away from this area.
Yeah.
I bet they won't follow us. And then they don't. Mm-hmm. And they just like walk over a hill, and suddenly they're in this like oasis, like jungly. There's like water, and there's like triceratops. And I'm like, wait, well, Chris, what did I miss? And he's like, you didn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, how did they get here? He's like, they walked here.
They left
like,
the movie.
Yeah. And I'm like, what was keeping them from coming here? He's like, I don't know.
There really isn't.
He can't keep getting away with it, as Jesse Pinkman would say. But now, yeah, they're in this jungly territory. They get overrun by monsters, and then Ron Perlman just shows back up with the other Chinese people.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, thanks for saving me." And he's just like, "Well, I didn't save it." And he just like punches her in the head and knocks her out.
He makes like a really corny smile. He's like, "Don't thank me yet." Pop! And just like, smashes her face, an instant knock KO.
Yeah. To this woman who is an army ranger who has killed people, by the way, and she gets knocked out by Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
And then I really don't remember a lot of this because this is the thing where it's like I'm kind of half awake, and then I'm just like, I honestly considered just like tapping out right here.
Yeah.
And I have not done that to a movie thus far for the podcast. I was just like, you know what? I kind of missed a little bit, but not really, actually. I'm just like, what if we just like said, don't watch this?
Yeah.
But I kind of was like, I owe it to people if they're going to listen to this that I actually tried. So I ended up sticking through it.
It's our job, damn it.
Yeah, I guess.
Thankfully, at this point in the movie, it's we were at the end pretty much.
Yeah.
Because that jungle thing, once Ron Perlman saves her, they go back to their like little shelter where there's a cat man.
Yes, there's cat people, which is in the game.
It's just like, okay, there's like a cat man here from Morrowind. And then,
Yeah, really. Yeah, the Khajiit.
yeah. And Ron Perlman, she's like, how do you speak? He's like, you are from the other world, not my world. And she's like, well, how do you speak English then? And then because the other guy speaks the alien language.
Yeah.
And Ron Perlman's like, because I've met your kind and I learned it through context clues. And it's like, no, what?
He also speaks like an American, too, which I think is funny. He's like, you don't speak into a weird alien accent.
Yeah. And the portal is in like Kuwait. So like, are you meaning Kuwaitis?
Some guy comes and goes, Abu Baba, and he's like, I will learn that. Imagine Mila comes up, he's just speaking like Arabic, and he goes, Habibi.
and it's a thing of like, you're drawing attention to, we wouldn't even be thinking about the fact that he knows English if you didn't, but now you're drawing attention to it with this like completely explanation where it's like, I wasn't even going to call you on this, Paul, but now you're making me.
Just make him do a dumb accent where he's like, I learn your language.
And he speaks like Serge.
So Serge from Beverly Hills Cop, he's like, oh, you're the monster hunter? What's it pertaining? What's the monster pertaining? Yeah. Sure, that is something. That is at least a thing where it's like you said, it's like Paul chooses the worst option every time. Just make Ron Perlman talk kind of like an alien race, a little bit. Have like a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or have her learn the alien language, and then she's communicating in their thing because she spends like an undefined amount of time with this Chinese guy in the desert, kind of communicating.
Sure.
At this point in the movie, though, they're at their lair, and he's like, "Well, actually, I know how to take you back to your world. I've sent people back. I've tried to send people back before, but never been successful." And she's like, "What does it take?" And he points. He's like, "See that giant spire in the distance? I think that there's like a portal over there, probably. But I also think it might be dangerous over there, probably also. But I don't know. I've never been." And it's like, what?
You were never curious?
So what clues you into think there's a portal over there? Like, it doesn't make any... He's like, by my own admission, I have no reason for thinking this, but I think the MacGuffin's that way.
He goes, the movie ends over there, and he's like, please fucking get me over there. Mila, if you want to just get your paycheck, get the fuck out of here. It is over there.
If he had looked at the screen and he goes, the audience doesn't get to leave until we get over there, I would have been shouting, like, please.
Ron, please. I value my life. Let me go.
Oh my God, that's so funny. The movie ends. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so perfect because that is what you're thinking. You're like, oh wait, that's because when he points, you go like, no, please don't make them walk the whole way. Please, I'll pay any amount of money for them to just be there.
Please fast track this like you did all the days in the Lost Lands. Just have it be like, oh, you gotta get to the tower, and then time's up. You're at the tower, movie's done, you can go home.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck, that's so good. Sorry, what were you saying?
I mean, so yeah, they eventually get to the tower that ends the movie, and they walk out, and they're like, you're back in Kuwait. And she's like, cool, dude, thanks. This is all I ever wanted.
They have like Oh, they have like a extremely short like final boss battle. Shockingly short. There's this huge. It's like a giant. Imagine like a giant that dragon from Pokemon with the two heads, the orange one. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know Pokemon, but
Yeah.
whatever. Imagine a dragon. His proportions are kind of like an average dragon, but the size for scale, his like toenail is the size of a human. He's fucking huge. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, he could just like stand on them and they're dead. Like he could easily win this fight. For some reason, they're kind of winning. They see him. They like hit him with they hit his like, he keeps like leaning his face right up to them so they can like whack him in the head with their swords. Weak spot,
yeah.
And after like hitting him a couple times, Mila sees a portal start to form and she's like, a portal. And she just runs towards it and then goes in it. And I was like, wait, that's it? They don't defeat the monster? Like that was so.
Yeah.
She ends up in Kuwait. She gets on, there's like Halo helicopters that show up.
Yes, there's some military helicopter that just comes by and is like, yeah, we're landing, we're going to rescue you. And they think like she's a civilian or something.
No, they say, we've been looking for you. They're like, Ranger so-and-so, where's your team?
Yeah, well, they land and you're like, you'll be okay. And then he grabs her dog tag and he's just like,
sorry,
you're
right.
a ranger?
Yep,
like,
yeah,
Artemis?
right.
And then eventually she's like, they take her in the whatever fucking military bird this is, and then as it takes off it gets destroyed and everybody gets sucked out and she survives somehow, and then lands, and then Ron Perlman and Chinese are there. And they're just like, oh, the fucking evil guy from earlier is back, the big one.
He like grabs an AC-130 out of the sky and like hurls it into the dirt.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the Chinese guy is just there and he did not jump into the portal, so like how did he get here? He shoots arrows at the dragon, which kills it. And then it's like they have like a little moment. And then a second portal opens. Ron Perlman walks out. He's like, we got more trouble. Mm-hmm. The portal stays open. Behind him, you see that spire from before. And there's a big fucking dragon flying towards him in the background. He's like, we got another one. We got to go back and close the portal. And I was like, no. Like, don't put me back. It was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was like, please.
Yeah.
And then Ron Perlman, and then, he's like, we got to go back and close the spire. And then Mila's like, how do we do it? And he's like, first, let's just focus on living through this battle. Dragons flying towards them. They all like square up and start running towards the dragon. And then it just cuts to black and says Monster Hunter. And you're like, wait, what?
Honestly, that's a mercy kill right there. I'm completely fine with them ending the movie like that. I could not handle like another 15 minutes of just Chinese nonsense. It's so fucked up.
Did you mention, I forget if it was off mic, something about like this is a Chinese movie?
Yeah, one of the companies that's listed at the front is Tencent, which is a Chinese game publisher. I believe I don't know if they publish Monster Hunter. I know it's a Capcom game. That's the developer.
I would think
publisher, I think.
I would think if they're involved, they must be maybe they're owned by the same parent company or something.
Maybe.
Because like, why else would they have anything to do with this random ass movie?
Tencent is a very big company.
Yeah.
So they probably have their finger in every pie. But I saw that and that I audibly went, no. Because I knew nothing good was going to come of this when you see like a Chinese company in a Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were both on the floor after this movie.
Yes, I had my blanket over my head.
You looked really funny. When this movie finally ended, I like stood up, I poured a drink, I kind of was like walking around. Chris was just like sitting there looking like a happy camper. Just
He was
like
fine.
He was like sipping his juice like a little kid. He was just a happy camper. I don't know how he's able to sit through these.
No,
But he was unaffected. You get up and you're just like, ugh. You're just like making zombie noises. You like laid down on the floor, put your blanket over your head. You looked like a dead body in a morgue and you just laid still for like 15 minutes.
Yes. And I was just like, oh. And then eventually I'm just like, you know what? I got all the poison out of my system and I sat up like the Undertaker. And we walked over to my bedroom to record. And that's where we are now.
Yeah. Holy shit. I had a
Hunter.
bad headache after this movie was over.
Oh, yeah. I need to take some more ibuprofen.
We watched a scene of General Grievous fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi to feel better about
we were watching cool Star Wars clips. We were watching Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, and that made us feel better.
Dude, there was a dark energy in that room when this movie ended.
It was a film exorcism. We were haunted by a specter, and we had to see some good things.
His name was Paul W.S. Anderson. Oh. We came up with a really good idea a while ago, which is that because Paul writes his own films.
He does.
And we were thinking, wouldn't it be funny if him and Paul Thomas Anderson, director of Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, The Master, if they each wrote a screenplay for their next film, but then they are then bait and switched and they have to direct the other one?
Yeah.
We need to find a way to make this happen.
So WS has to direct an actual good script for the first time in 30 years.
Yeah. And PTA has to figure out how to somehow make a movie called as Chris said, Skull Place.
The Evil Area by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, that's the thing we forgot about, The Land Before Time or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
There's a thing in it where he's like, you got to go past the ridge of despair to the land of where everyone dies. And Mila's like, why do they call it that? And we were all just
what do you mean? It's so bad. It's so bad. How is he allowed to make movies? How is he allowed? He can't
Chinese
keep getting away with it.
It's Chinese reasons, dude. It's 13 Chinese reasons.
13. I'm sweating really bad right now.
Me too.
Oh my god. I feel like I woke up after I just had the flu.
Me too. I have that bounce back, I'm getting over a sickness.
God.
I also feel mentally insane.
It's 50 degrees right now outside, and I feel like it's 100.
Yeah.
God, we need to stop. This needs to stop.
We need to stop this podcast forever. It's too evil.
We need to go on a sabbatical. I think I'm getting an ulcer from this. I haven't seen so much dog shit my entire life since I started this.
We're getting ulcers of the brain. This podcast gives me empathy for Red Letter Media.
Oh, yeah?
Because there are so many best of the worst episodes where Mike is like, I'm literally getting brain damage from what we watch on this show. And as a kid, I'm watching it, I'm like, what are you talking about? You're watching The Room and funny bad movie.
You get to watch movies for a job.
But it's it's different when you're watching someone talk about it and you see the funniest clips versus having to sit through the nightmare.
Yes, we're trying to salvage these movies for entertainment value for you folks, but do not watch these by yourself. Content advisory warning.
Don't watch them by yourself. Don't watch them with anyone else. This podcast is the only thing related to these films I think is safe for consumption.
Yes.
Legally.
Yeah. You should go to jail if after listening to this that you pay any money for these films.
Paul W.S., we will see you at The Hague, my friend.
Lawyer up, fucker.
You can write into us at yourolderbrothers@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of the episode. And if you are maybe interested in watching the trailer or, God forbid, sitting through any amount of time with this film, let us know how it went and what is currently happening in your life as a result. You can find us on social media. We are at Your Older Brothers Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. We are Your Older Brothers on X, but your is spelled U-R because someone's sitting on our domain. It's ours, damn it. We deserve it, but we can't. Patreon.com/YourOlderBrothers, $5 a month for an extra episode every Monday.
Very much worth it. Unlike In the Wild... what's it called?
In the Realm of the Senses?
Yes.
The famous porn film on the Criterion Channel.
I rather would have watched that than this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let's go watch it right now.
Let's do that.
Let's go.
Bye.